Hey. Hey, Mark. Hello, how's it going? This is my first time trying this out, so I don't know if there's a way to do like landscape, but it wasn't letting me, I don't know, it wasn't letting me turn the camera. So I don't know if I have to hold it this way. Hey, Johnny Mac, thank you. Everything's going really well. Let's see. I've gone over 200 miles so far on the trail. My videos are pretty far behind at this point, but things are going really well. I haven't had as much time as I wanted for editing, but hiking wise, things are going good. Yeah, I don't know, no complaints, no major body issues. I don't know, things are going well. I haven't really run into any like major problems so far, so that's really good. Good evening, Nana. Good to see you. Oh, my sound is going in and out. Okay, I don't know how to fix that. I'm on a Wi-Fi and my signal says it's pretty strong, so I don't know what the issue is with that. I don't know. Is everyone else able to hear me? Huh. Okay. I don't know. Oh, that's good. That's my mic. I'm on my phone. I'm on my iPhone. So that's good. So, okay, some people can hear me, some people can't. So, I guess I figured if anyone had any questions, I can answer them. My videos are right now currently like 17 days delayed, so I am further on the trail than what the videos are showing. So I have a fair bit of experience so far on the trail than what is being shown right now. So if anyone has questions related to anything, I'm probably in a good position at this point to answer them, more so than when I was in the first sort of week of my hike when I was still sort of feeling things out. So if anyone has questions about anything in particular, I can answer those. People, I don't know. I guess I did send some things home that I'm glad I sent home. I sent home my umbrella and I sent home my camp shoes, and I haven't regretted sending those home. My current gear is working out very well. My pack cover My pack cover, I love that piece of gear. So I have the Light Heart Gear pack cover, which has a hood on it. And so the hood goes over you, so it kind of covers you and the pack. So when it rains, the water doesn't go, down your back like some other regular pack covers that would happen. So you'd still end up getting wet on your back. And it's been so great. So it has like the hood and then it like kind of snaps in the front of you. So it has sort of like a little like cape sort of thing where it covers your head and shoulders. And I found that it sort of holds in more of the warmth. So if it's like cold rain, like it makes me feel warmer, and it's also like keeping me and my pack dry. So I've been super happy with that. There's been a couple days where it's rained and I had that pack cover on, and like getting to camp, taking it off, like my pack was like bone dry, and I was super happy with that, and everything inside was dry. So it's been working out really well, and it doesn't weigh that much, so it's lighter than the umbrella was, and it is keeping the rain out of my pack. So the Light Heart Gear pack cover with the hood, highly recommend that item. It's really good. And so it was happening with the umbrella, which I didn't anticipate. The umbrella, I thought it would sort of cover me and the pack, and it ended up like it didn't totally cover my pack. It kind of like the rain would like run down and like funnel onto the top of my pack. So it ended up getting my pack more wet than if I hadn't used it at all. So I'm happy that I ended up sending that home. So plus it was getting caught on the trees on the trail. So I don't know about like different hammocks. I use the Warbonnet Blackbird, and that was the first hammock that I used. And so I did some research before I bought that, and I was looking for something that was ultralight, and I found the Warbonnet Blackbird, and I liked that it sort of advertised more of a flat lay, because you lay diagonally in the hammock, because it has like the foot box and the area where your head goes, and if you kind of hang it correctly, you can almost lay flat basically in it. So the underquilt doesn't come attached with it, but the underquilt that I use with it is the Warbonnet Wookie, and it's an asymmetrical lay. So the orientation is, it kind of lines up with the Blackbird, where it's sort of a diagonal sort of orientation. And I've been super happy with it. I don't have any issue with setting it up. The attachment is really simple. It attaches on one end with a loop and the other end with a carabiner. And what I do, because I use the Warbonnet sock, I kind of like carabined it together like inside of the sock. So all that I do when I set it up right now is I attach the straps onto the tree, and then I attach the straps through the continuous loops on the hammock, and that's it. And then my hammock plus underquilt plus sock is all sort of like one piece. So that piece is set, and then if I want to put the tarp up that would be like a separate thing. But I don't always put the tarp up if I'm not expecting any rain. But I don't know. I've been really happy with my choice. I don't know anything about the Superior hammock. Thank you, Tiny Fairy. Hello to Matthew. Okay, so for laying in the hammock, so I am a side sleeper most of the time. So the way that I sleep, and this might be different from how other people sleep, but so when I'm laying in the hammock, when I first go into the hammock, I'm laying on my back, so I'll lay, with the diagonal lay the way you're supposed to. But when I'm actually ready to go to sleep, I kind of turn onto my side. And the way that I sleep, I kind of sleep scrunched up anyway. Like just like in normal life, I kind of like curl my legs up. So that I can do fine in the hammock. I think if you're like a side sleeper who stretches their legs out, that might be different. And I don't know. So, like, because the toe box is technically like diagonal, I don't know how that would exactly work. Because, like, when I sleep diagonal, I'm kind of like my legs are like curled up a little bit. So, I don't have my legs in the toe box at that point. So I don't know. I have slept anytime when I've camped, I've slept in my hammock. I have not slept a single night in the shelters. And I think I've been lucky because so when I went through the Smokies, you're technically supposed to sleep in the shelter if there's room. But when I went through the Smokies, it was full every single night in the shelter. So I was able to hammock camp, which I was happy with. I didn't really want to sleep in the shelter, even though like I carried a sleeping pad just in case. I also didn't run into any runners or anything. It was just like there was a lot of people at the shelter and everybody wanted to sleep in the shelter. So I have always slept in my hammock if I was out camping. The shelters are pretty crowded. I think I could have squeezed in if I really wanted to for the most part. But so the way that I hike, I'm pretty slow. I'm usually like one of the last people to leave in the morning, and then when I get to camp, I'm one of the last people to arrive. And by the time I arrive, usually there's a lot of people in the shelter. And like I said, like I could usually maybe find a place to squeeze in if I wanted, but I've been really happy with sleeping in my hammock. So I sleep really well in my hammock. I should say, it's like I sleep probably better in my hammock than I do in a bed, like just in a hostel or hotel. So if I have a chance to sleep in my hammock, I will do that. Okay, so for setting up in the winter, I haven't noticed a lot of dead trees, I'll look up and I'll be able to see like, okay, there's been a couple times when I would look at a tree and I'd be like, oh, this looks like a good one, but then I'd look up and I'd see, oh wait, there's like that's like basically a stump and there's no tree attached to that. um and that it's pretty easy to tell if a tree's dead or not if you just kind of like look up. So when I'm like setting up, I'll like find a couple of trees that are like 13 to 17 feet or whatever spaced apart, and then I will kind of like look up and I'll see like, all right, this tree looks like it's still alive. Or some like, I haven't seen any so far, I haven't run into any issues with widowmakers. So that's where like there's a branch that it looks like it's about to fall down on you, like it's like loose or whatever. I haven't seen any like that. There's been a few nights where like it's been really high winds, and so that made me like kind of do a double take and make sure that there's no loose branches ahead that look like they might come down. But so far that hasn't been an issue. um, I've been able to find good spaces for hammocks. Yes, I have met of quite a few cool people on trail. Um, I have right now. I have like one person that I would consider a hiking partner. Um, but like nobody that like is like hiking the same speed as me. But like people that like we always end up at the same sort of campsites. Like uh, so there's quite a few actually people that have ended up camping at the same spots, but we're all hiking different speeds, but we're hiking about the same mileage. So I'm usually alone during the day, and then I'll meet up with people when I get to camp, which is what I kind of figured would happen. But that's been really cool, like because I've gotten sort of both experiences where I've been like on my own, kind of like the solo experience, and then I've also gotten the social experience at camp. So that's been really cool. Um, so for me, when I need to go to the bathroom in my hammock, um, I don't use a female urinary device. I usually just get out of my hammock and I go. And usually that only happens like once or twice a night, so it's not like it's a lot. Um, and I haven't had an issue with like that being a big deal really so far. Um, so it's been fine. Um, I am not really nervous about encountering a bear. Um, I've seen bears a couple times in like my past. Um, so there was a couple. Let's see, like once on a day hike and then once on a smaller through hike where I saw a bear, and both times they were running away from me. And so my experience with black bears in particular is they're more afraid of you than you are of them. Um, and from what I've researched and seen, you want to not associate like food with people. So the best thing to do is to either hang your food or use like the bear boxes, but don't sleep with your food. Because when bears associate food with people, they become less afraid of people. And so then that's when bears become an issue, and unfortunately, bears have to be put down if they start coming toward like campsites and getting into food and things. So always to protect the bears and yourself, it's a good idea to hang your food when possible, or if there's a bear box at the campsite, to store the food in there. For other than that, I have not had an issue with encountering bears. I haven't been afraid. I haven't seen a single bear this entire trip so far. Um, so not an issue at this moment. Um, for food, um, my approach in terms of the types of food has not changed, but the amount I think has changed. Going into it, I think that I brought too much. I kind of over prepared because I was kind of thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna have much opportunity to resupply, and that wasn't true. There's a whenever you go into a town, there's usually somewhere where you can buy more food. So going forward, I decided I only need to plan for the days leading up to my next town stop, and that's been good. That's helped a lot. So my planning in terms of the amount of food has changed, but types of food, I've still put an emphasis on getting plenty of calories and protein, um, as much as I can, as well as carbs and fat and everything. Just trying to get as much as I can, and also taking breaks to eat food during the day instead of just waiting until I get to camp to eat. So that's helped me kind of up my calorie intake a little bit. Okay, oh my gosh. So Sheila asked about being stalked by homeless. I This has really shocked me. I didn't realize what an issue this was on the trail, but there are homeless people that live on the trail. And that was something I wasn't really prepared for. I had never really I never really heard of that until I got on here, and then like I was planning for like what shelter I'm going to stay at, and I would look ahead on Far Out, and I'd look on a shelter, and it would say like, oh, like homeless Harry has been living here for 5 days, like look out. And I mean, look, what's happened is like, unfortunately, a lot of people are nervous about camping in places where like a homeless person has set up in the shelter. So a lot of people would just avoid that shelter. And I had an issue uh, recently where there was a person set up in a shelter. It wasn't a place that I was going to camp. It was a place where I was thinking of stopping for lunch. And when I saw this person, they were nice and everything, but I was a little bit uncomfortable because they had all their stuff like completely like filling the shelter. And I kind of decided I was just going to move on at that point. And I kind of like went up the trail more, and I had my lunch further up the trail. And well, it's funny that I got this question because this was something I was recently thinking about. But I was eating my lunch, and like 10 minutes later, that person started walking up the trail toward me. And so I was a little freaked out because I was like, did this person follow me? Because they had clearly been set up there for a few days. So it was weird that they chose that time to like keep walking up the trail toward town. And so I was really nervous, and I ended up like, I kind of gave them a wide berth, and I like let them go a while by themselves, but I also kind of like stayed really vigilant like when I did start hiking. And I was like peering into the trees, like just in case they were, hiding in there or something. It didn't end up being an issue, but it was just kind of a weird situation, and it wasn't really something that I was prepared for, hiking alone. So that's just something to be mindful of. I think that there are homeless people that are kind of sometimes set up in the shelters. I do wear gaiters. I wear the Dirty Girl gaiters. They are very helpful. So before I started using them, I would get a lot of like debris in my shoes, like twigs and dirt and what have you would get in there. And I'd end up, you're walking on it, and it's annoying, and it's rubbing on your feet and whatever. So you'd end up having to stop and empty out your shoe like every like 10 minutes. It seemed like I'd have to like empty out stuff out of my shoe. And so the gaiters help from things getting in there. And so those have really helped me a lot. So yeah, those are the Dirty Girl gaiters, and they kind of attach to your shoes. There's like a little hook on the top of it. Most trail runners will have like a little loop that you can attach the hook onto, and then on the back, usually they'll have like a Velcro thing that attaches onto the back. For the shoes I wear, because I wear the Topo Ultra Venture 3s, they don't come with the Velcro on the back, but I ended up just cutting a piece of Velcro, just like a little strip, and I glued it onto the back, and then I was able to strap it to the back that way. So that ended up working out, and I've been really happy with the Dirty Girl gaiters. I've actually been using those for like 3 years now, and they've been really good. I just use regular toothpaste. I've tried the toothpaste tablets before. So the ones I had were charcoal, and so they like turn your teeth black. Like you chew on them and they like turn your teeth black. And it was a little weird, because like you're chewing on them and you're brushing your teeth and whatever, and you spit it out and it's like black, and then sometimes there's like a little black left on your teeth. So I don't know, it was kind of weird to use them, but I've been happy with just using regular toothpaste. So I haven't really had an issue with that. I started with the same like travel size tube of toothpaste, and it's probably lasted me close to 4 weeks at this point, just that one little tube. So I don't think it's a huge difference between carrying a tube and carrying a few tablets. It's probably about the same. Oh my gosh, Bluebird! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you on here. That's so cool. Bluebird, I love your rain skirt, and I want one. I don't have a rain skirt, unfortunately. I have rain pants right now. The rain pants I have I've had them for a few years. They're from Mountain Warehouse, and they're a really cheap pair I found on Amazon. And they've been through some stuff. They have some they have some holes I've patched up. The seams are going on them. I don't expect them to last this through hike. I'm eventually planning on switching to a rain skirt because I think those are awesome. Uh, yeah, rain skirts definitely. When it starts warming up, I think I'm gonna switch to rain skirts. We still had some cold nights ahead that I'm like, well, rain pants might be good. Ah, Bluebird, I miss you so much. Yeah, the tablets. When I carried the tablets, I had like a little baggie that I would like put the tablets in, and they probably did take up about as much space as the toothpaste tube. The thing with the tablets, this is the other thing I just thought of. They get kind of crushed up in your bag. So if they start off as like a tablet and then they end up grinding up into a powder. So it made it a little hard to tell, like, wait, how much of this powder should I have now? So the toothpaste has just been easier to use. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. My rain setup has been so much better because I started out, I had the umbrella, and I had a Gossamer Gear pack liner to like protect my quilt inside my pack, because I thought that like the fact that my pack was supposed to be waterproof, I thought that that would create like an extra redundancy, but it didn't end up working out that way. So instead, I now use the pack cover, the compactor bag. And since I've had those, everything in my pack has stayed completely dry in the rain. So I've been really happy with that setup. Oh, okay. So for pillows, I don't use an official pillow. What I do, I take my buff, which I normally would wear on my head during the day while I hike. I take my buff and uh, I open it up, and on one end, I attach a hair tie. And usually it's the hair tie I've been wearing in my hair that day because I usually tie my hair back. And then, so in the sort of like sack that creates, I stuff my puffy coat, which I'm currently wearing, I stuff that into the buff, and that creates my pillow. I used to tie another like hair tie or rubber band on the other end, but honestly, I've been too lazy to do that. So usually I just kind of stuff it in there and let it go, and that's been fine. And I just use that as my pillow. And when I'm in my hammock, I don't really want much of a pillow anyway because your head is already slightly elevated, and um, so I don't really need a whole lot, just like a tiny little bit. So this puffy is like just enough cushion for my head. Yeah, I think the umbrella thing is really a personal decision. I will say, uh, for when I use the umbrella, um, it did really well at keeping my torso dry. So like anything like head to my waist was like totally dry, except for like my arms. My arms would still get wet. Um, but it would constantly get caught on the trees. So depending on where you're walking, I think on the AT, sometimes the trail can be kind of narrow and you'll have trees on either side of you, and they would, like a branch or something would get caught on the end of the umbrella and it would just like keep spinning around and it'd be really annoying. So I'd have to like, keep sort of fixing it. And it ended up kind of slowing my pace because I couldn't see where I was going. And part of that might be like I had it too low, but I couldn't see like too far ahead of me with the umbrella on. And I was just kind of getting annoyed and frustrated with it. I also felt like the umbrella was kind of funneling water directly onto my backpack, which was causing more water to get in my pack. And if I had a choice between if I wanted to keep myself dry or if I wanted to keep my backpack dry, I would pick my backpack because the stuff that's in my pack, like my shelter, my quilt, I need that stuff to be dry. Because otherwise, like, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm not going to be able to sleep dry, warm, and comfortable without that stuff being dry. So if my hiking clothing gets wet, that's fine. I have dry clothes to change into in my backpack. But if my backpack, the stuff in my pack gets wet, I don't have anything. So it's more important to me to keep that stuff dry. So having the pack cover has been really helpful for that. So yeah. I don't know if there's any more questions. I would be happy to answer them. But I also, I guess I've been on here for 38 minutes or so. So probably wrap this up pretty soon. Yeah, I don't know. Things are going pretty well. Yeah, the bushes on the side of the trails, yeah, can be an issue with the umbrella. It was a really good idea in theory. I really liked having the hands-free sort of like clasp where I could still use my trekking poles, but unfortunately it didn't really end up working out for me. But I don't know, some people are really happy with having an umbrella, but I haven't seen very many people with one. So I don't know if many people might not have started with one. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Bluebird. Thank you, Mark. Having the umbrella in camp or in town, I could see that being really useful on rainy days, for sure. For me, I was it's an extra 6.8 ounces, I think, and I needed to shed some weight. So while it's nice to have, I was like, if there's going to be one thing that I can get rid of, I think I can get rid of this. My boyfriend, he will be back soon. He's planning to visit in a few days, so I'm super excited, and I'm sure you'll see him in an upcoming video. Yeah, thanks. It's been a lot of work with the videos. I'll be honest, some of it's been like kind of down to the wire on I'll get into town and I'll be like, all right, I gotta upload one like right away because it's overdue. But yeah, it's a lot of extra work. That's why having the buffer, I'm hoping I can actually eventually get to a point where I have like a buffer of videos in the queue ready to post so that I don't have to worry as much about it, but it's been a lot. Yeah. So thank you everybody for coming. Um, yeah. Um, I don't have any tattoos currently. I'm not a huge tattoo person. Um, so what I did when I hiked the long trail, I got myself a necklace. So I could see myself getting like a piece of jewelry or something when I complete the AT, but probably won't get a tattoo. Yeah, thanks. I'm like, I want to, I really like, I love editing. I love editing the videos. It's just sometimes I don't have time. I literally had nights where, I've stayed up till like midnight, like editing, and didn't really get a whole lot of sleep that night. So I like doing it, but sometimes time, you have to sacrifice something, whether it's sleep or social time or something, trail time, hiking time, uh, to edit. But I like it. Yeah. So cool. Thanks everyone for coming. I'll try to do another one of these sometime further up the trail. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks everybody.